Namaste, this is François Gauthier. This is my third vlog, vlog, on Indian history as it happened, not as it has been written. Now, speaking of the Indian history as it has been written, most history books in the world give Mesopotamia, Egypt as the most ancient civilizations. Yet, we saw in the last vlog that the discovery of the Saraswati River, the traces of the Saraswati River, the underground Saraswati River, which is still flowing, the satellite imagery are kind of upsetting all this dating, and we have to go back now. Now, the Indus civilization, what is called the Harappan civilization, is of course mentioned in most history books as one remarkable, because as you know, as many of you know, Mohenjo-daro, which was the capital of what is called the Harappan civilization, had a remarkable system, drainage system. They had different zones, residential zone, factory zones, cultural zone. They had baths, public baths. The streets were, perpendicular to each other. It was very remarkable for its time, and it has been admired and recognized. Now, since the discovery of the Saraswati River, there have been also new discoveries of sites, archaeological sites on the bank of the Saraswati, on the bank of the ancient Saraswati River, which are putting in question the name Harappan civilization. Or Indus, you know that it's called also Indus civilization because these Harappan civilization was on the banks of the river Indus. The name Hindus come from the river Indus because ancient people called Indian people Hindus because they mostly lived at that time, in the north at least, on the banks of the river Indus. So Hindus is a misnomer actually. Now, the Saraswati River and the Indus River were very close to each other, about 300 kilometers. Now, with the discovery of the new sites, I'm going to read to you about what it says is that 100 new Harappan sites have been uncovered over the last 20 years by Indian, American, and British archaeologists on the bank of the Saraswati River. They have also identified more than 2,000 Harappan sites, including nearly 1,500 villages or towns, each covering at least 50 acres. The cities themselves average 200 acres, and Mohenjo-daro, the capital, spread over 620 acres. The total area of the civilization was therefore immense, about 1 million square kilometers, according to Purcell, a famous American archaeologist, more than Mesopotamia and Egypt combined. So the discovery of the site on the Saraswati River puts back in question first the dating, because Saraswati is dated 5,000 years. The beginning of the Saraswati civilization, let's call it that way, is at least 5,000 years before Christ. Whether the Indus or Harappan civilization is 2,000 years before Christ. So we need to go back. And the second thing is that we need to rename the Harappan civilization as the Saraswati Indus civilization. The Saraswati Indus civilization. So, you have to rewrite your entire history books, both in India and abroad, and to see that the civilization is more ancient than Egypt, more ancient than Mesopotamia. And of course, we will come later to the famous Aryan evasion theory, which is, of course, totally false. It has been false in many ways. But for the moment, let us remember that it is not the Harappan civilization 2,000 years before Christ, after Mesopotamia and Egypt. It is the Saraswati Indus or Saraswati Harappan civilization, which dates at least to 5,000 years before Christ. Namaste.